Hi guys! We're going to rate my Colourpop palettes. I'm so excited for this. This was so hard. This was so hard. I love Colourpop. Colourpop is probably my favorite brand. It probably is my favorite brand. Definitely my favorite drugstore-ish brand, but my favorite brand. So, if you want to see me rate my Colourpop palettes, stick around. Welcome or welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Andi. I'm really happy that you're here. Oh my gosh, you guys. You know Colourpop is like my favorite brand. I love Colourpop. I love Colourpop. I love Colourpop's eyeshadows, their face products, their lip products, their liners, all of that. I think they have very good quality items for the most part. I've had a couple of Colourpop palettes that weren't amazing, but I'd say for the most part, their formula is great and they are very affordable, especially when they have their 30% off sales, which I always manage to find something that I need. Okay, so I have 30 Colourpop palettes, and this does not include like the minis, like the quads or the like 5 pans, in the plastic packaging. These are just like eyeshadow palettes, probably, 9 pans or more. I have 30 of them. I am automatically disqualifying 2 because I've not used them. And the first one is in the spring. And I got this in a Colourpop mystery box. And I'm pretty sure this is the only thing that I liked out of the box, maybe? I don't know. I've not been a fan of their mystery boxes, but that's just me. That's just me. And the other one is the Lilac You a Lot. I think this is a beautiful color story. I have a couple of other purple palettes from them, and I just haven't reached for this, and I don't know why. So 30 minus 2 is 28. So we're going to rank them 1 through 28. Actually, 28 through 1. We're going to start with the lowest and go. You know how you do. Okay, number 28. Very unpopular opinion, I'm sure. The Glow Getter. The Glow Getter is not my favorite palette. This is what she looks like, and I just don't like that color story. I just don't like it. I think if you did a complete look with maybe these, I don't think it's cohesive, and that's my own personal opinion. It's not cohesive. I don't like this black at all. I don't like the formula of the black. I love the formula of the shimmers. I think it's beautiful. But number 28. Number 27 is the On a Whimsy palette, and it has a very kind of similar color story to it. I was so excited to get this, and I should be careful because when I first got this thing, I was showing it just like this, and it went and fell out. Not the pan stayed in, but it's a Super Shock formula, and those are very fragile. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's a confusing color story for me. And I was really excited to get this. But after using it a couple times, it's like, it's okay. The next one is the Cabana Club. And again, I think it's a disjointed color story. It has these cool shades. It has these warm shades. And I don't know. I did not enjoy using this. I was very stumped. I was stumped on what I was going to do with it. Now this right here, first of all, is hit hard pan. But that is a very pretty bluey teal shade. But I may, if I decide to do this, which I don't know, I may take these shimmers out and put them in a Z palette. I don't know. Okay, number 25. Also unpopular opinion is the Fade into Hue palette. Now, I don't dislike this palette at all. I think it's beautiful. I think it's a very beautiful palette. I have used this a couple of times. I used this in a collab with Casey from Casey Has Opinions and Terrible Video Skills, which she's the reason I bought the palette in the first place, because whenever she used it, I just thought it was so pretty. She's a little bit more color adventurous than I am. And I also used some of the purples in a collab with Tina H for Leanna Dalton's birthday. I think I used there. I think I used it in that. Anyway, it's a rainbow palette. It's a beautiful rainbow palette. I'm not a huge rainbow palette fan, you guys. I'm not. I'm going to keep it for forever. I'm never going to declutter it because the formula is really nice. It's just a color story that I just don't usually reach for. If you know me, you know I'm a cool neutral girl. So yeah. Number 24 is the Main Squeeze palette. It is a 9-pan, and I have used it a few times. My problem with this palette, it is a monochromatic palette, which normally doesn't bother me as long as there is a good range in here. Yes, we have some very deep. Yes, we have a very light, but these shades are they're so similar. They look so similar on the skin. So similar on the skin. I bought this palette because my best friend Dina did a look with this because she has it, and it was freaking amazing. She looked beautiful. So I bought it when they had I think they were on sale for like $9, and I bought a bunch of them. But I just don't reach for it. I don't know, maybe this summer. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Okay, number 23 is the Baroque palette. You guys, I have decluttered this palette 5 times. And every time I bring it back in. So this is probably going to go into my Project 3 uses. Those first 3 I mentioned are probably going to do that as well, because if I don't like them, I'm going to declutter them. There's no reason to have it. So I need to use it 3 times, see if I really like it. 3 times and actually pay attention. Again, with this, it's a very monochromatic palette. It has very similar tones in it. Now, there are a couple of shades. This shade right here in the middle is a beautiful duochrome. Like, it's really pretty. It's that one. It's very pretty. I just don't ever reach for this. It's been winter for a minute. I was like, oh, I'll use it in the winter. No, I didn't. I didn't use it in the winter. I haven't used it in the winter. Winter's not over. Maybe. Maybe I'll throw it in my Project 3 uses and see what happens. The next one, also probably unpopular opinion, is the So Fly. Now, I loved the formula of this palette. I did. I loved the look that I did with this palette, but I feel like that look is the only look that I could do with it. This middle shade right here, again, another duochrome. Look at that. It is freaking beautiful. It's freaking beautiful. And I love this teal shade. I do. I use this in a collab with Leanna Dalton because it's a dragonfly. Duh. It's her fave. But yeah, I don't know, you guys. I don't know. I don't know why I don't reach for it. Okay, you guys, number 21 is the It's a Mood palette. Nothing wrong with this palette at all. I just did a look with it the other day, and it is the first time that I had used it in so long. There's nothing wrong with this palette. It's beautiful. The formula is great. I mean, I don't like the pressed glitters. I need to just pop those out and just not have them because I don't like them. But like, you can take a line and do a complete look with each line. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I don't reach for it, but it's down on the list. And the reason some of these are down further, I love them. I think they're great palettes. There are just other palettes that I like better than those. So that's why. That's my thought when I was ranking these. It's like, okay, starting from the top, which ones will I not get rid of ever? Okay, the next one is the Rock Candy palette. If you know me, you know that this is my whole complete entire jam. That is my jam. I don't reach for this because it looks very similar to another palette that is later on the list. That's more toward the top. Very, very similar. And so if I want that color story, I reach for this other palette over this one. Still a beautiful palette. This does have some little bit brighter, but it has those pressed glitters. I don't like those. Okay, next up, the Wannabe palette. I think that this is a beautiful palette. It performed great. I've done this in a few different looks. I've done one on film and others off camera. But it's the color story for me. The color story, that's not me. I don't gravitate, I should say. I don't gravitate toward oranges and yellows. I don't. It's still, there's nothing wrong with the palette. It's beautiful formula. It's Colourpop's beautiful formula. It is. And having said that, the next one is the California Love palette. I did get this from Ash from Makeup and Chaos. but it's the same type of color story. It's the oranges and the yellows. I have used this many times. I used it in the summer quite a bit, actually, when I wanted something a little bit more coppery and all of that. But yeah, it's okay. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with the formula. The formula is great. If that is your color story, then I highly recommend. However, it's discontinued because, you know, Colourpop likes to do that. Okay, next up is the High Tide palette. I love this palette. This palette is beautiful. It is a monochromatic teal palette. I will never get rid of this palette. It is beautiful. There are just others that I like better. Others that I reach for more often. This to me is like a couple times a year type thing. Usually in the summer because it reminds me of the ocean. Next up is the Through My Eyes palette. I did just use this recently. I think it was on Instagram. I don't think I used it on camera. I was on my Instagram. But it is very pretty. Again, I got this from Ash from Makeup and Chaos when they did their declutter, and it performed beautifully. There are some shades in here I probably won't use. I don't like the sequin matte right here. I don't like a sequin matte. The shimmers are beautiful. There's no glitters in it. This shade right here is freaking beautiful. Look at that shade. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. But again, I don't really wear greens much. I have been. But yeah, I love these shades down here. I thought they were beautiful, and I used it with that on the lid, I believe. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a beautiful palette. Also discontinued. Okay, next up is the By the Rosé. Recently used this beautiful palette. No reason that it's not #1 other than there are other ones that I like better. But it is very pretty. If you like pinks, this one I believe it still is on the website. But no pressed glitters. These shimmers are so pretty. I think it was this one down here. The one down here in the corner. Look at that. It's such a pretty shimmer. Such a pretty shimmer. I love it. I love it. Okay, next up is the All That palette. This is a beautiful palette, especially for this time of year, because it's very Valentine's Day. I don't like, of course, that has a pressed glitter in it, but this is a Super Shock shimmer, and that shimmer is fan-freaking-tastic. I used this. I have a little story, quick story about this. I bought this. I think I had started my channel, but very, very early in my channel. I did 2 looks with this and I hated it. I hated both of them. I felt like the formula was terrible. I felt like it was patchy. It was dry. I just did not like it at all. But I used it in a collab with Erica Conger. She had said, hey, let's use the All of That palette since you have it. And I didn't have the heart to say, I don't like that palette. I was like, sure, why not? And I used it. It was amazing. I loved the look I did. I did a very vampy, sultry look with it. And I loved. So that's why this one did not get decluttered, because I have found love in this palette. I have. Okay, next up. Making Mauves. This is my complete entire jam as well. I've used it many times, as you can see. Those shimmers are so pretty. There's no reason. You know, I mean, just there's others I like better that are up higher on the list. But it's a beautiful palette. Beautiful, beautiful. Next up is the Give It To Me Straight. This also came from Ash from Makeup and Chaos when they did their declutter. And I love this palette. I've used it many times and I love it. So as actually, you know, like after the Wannabe, we're just splitting hairs now. We're just splitting hairs because there's no reason for me to not like it. It's not that I dislike these. They're just, like I said, there's some I like better. Next up is the Orchid You Not. And I love this palette. It is a beautiful purple palette. And I've used it many times. I have. I love it. I love it, love it. And then the other purple palette I have is the All Amethyst palette. I got this in friend mail from Laura the Bargain Hunter. Again, very, very pretty. This shade right here in the middle is freaking gorge. This shade down here in the corner, I love. Yeah, this is, I think these are both still on the site, and I highly recommend them. If you like purple palettes, I would recommend getting them, maybe on their next sale, whatever. The next one is the Lucky Penny. Love this palette. I used this a lot in the fall because it is a very coppery palette. Now, does it make any sense? Riddle me this. Riddle me this. Does it make any sense that I don't like oranges, but I love coppers? No. No, it doesn't make sense. No, it doesn't. But I love this palette. Man, it is some, if I have a finger, it is some coppery goodness, man. This shade right here is such, oh, look at that. Look at that. So pretty. So pretty. I love it. I love it. Next up is the Wine and Only. Very monochromatic wine shades. This would, again, would be a perfect Valentine's Day palette. I had this palette and I gave it away. I gave it to my best friend Dina. And then when they had their sale, when their 9 pans were on sale for $9, I picked it up again. Because after I decluttered it, I'm like, I love that palette. It's so pretty. The shade right here in the middle, it's freaking gorgeous. It's gorgeous. It's a beautiful red. Beautiful red shimmer. Love it. Next up. Okay, number 7. Number 7 is the Colourpop Lush Life. Now, this palette, I think, is Colourpop's best formula. It is their best formula. This formula is amazing. Why they discontinued this palette, I have no idea. I have no idea. This is such a beautiful palette. The reason it's not in the top 5 is because I don't reach for it much because it's not really my color story. Although these 3 right here make a beautiful, beautiful look. And these 3 right here make a beautiful look. This green shade right here, man, it is so pretty. I love that shade. I love this shade. I don't like greens, but these are beautiful. These are so beautiful. I wish they would have not discontinued that, and I wish they would have made a lot more palettes with that formula. I love the Colourpop formula. They're not all created equal. I've said this before. They're not all created equal, but it's really nice. Okay, number 6 is the Blow and Smoke palette. I used this in a collab with Emily D, and I love, it was a Halloween type theme. I love the look that I created with this. I really pushed myself outside my comfort zone, and I love the way it came out. I almost decluttered this. I was not going to use it anymore. You know, Ash from Makeup and Chaos kept saying that they love this palette, and this was one of their favorite Colourpop palettes, and I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know if I like it. And then I used it. Boom. All over. It is such a great formula. I love it. And this is my only, that is my only black, silver, gray-ish palette that I have. It's the only one. Okay, next up. Is this number 5? Okay, now we're in the top 5, guys. The top 5. Number 5 is Plush Like Me. I got this in a Colourpop mystery box. And it is so pretty. And I have done 3 or 4 different looks with this. They all looked differently. And that's when I love a palette, is when you can do several different looks and they all look different. And, oh, so pretty. I love the shimmers in this. And I love the neutral tones in it. And you can just kind of like liven it up with a shimmer. I don't know. I love it. I do. Okay, number 4 is the Wild Child palette. This is rich chocolatey goodness. I freaking love it. It is gorge. I love these tones. They're so warm and rich and just, oh, I love it. This is a great, great fall palette. Great fall palette. And as a matter of fact, I love using it with the Lucky Penny. Like this as a 18 pan palette, that'd be amazing. That'd be amazing. I love it. And the formula is beautiful. It's very velvety and it's very, I love it. I love it. Okay. Number 3 is the Ménage à Moi. I bought this one. I bought the original Wine and Only palette. It came in a set with some color shocks or Colourpop super shocks and all of that. This one, this stupid glitter down here is like wanting to fall out. But that is beautiful pinky. Another one for Valentine's Day. This is a beautiful pinky, rosy, romantic, very romantic palette. And these shimmers are so pretty. Oh, they're so pretty. These are definitely a Super Shock formula. You know what? That might be a pressed glitter. Well, I've never noticed that when I've used it before. It feels like a pressed glitter, but it's very finely milled. Huh. I don't mind that pressed glitter. Some of them are very chunky. I don't like that. I don't want to feel it on my eyeballs. I don't. But beautiful, beautiful. I don't know if I think they still have that, but I'm not sure. I don't know if they still have it or not. Okay, number 2. That's taupe. I love, actually, that's what I'm wearing on my eyes today. This was my first Colourpop palette. Very first Colourpop palette. She is so well loved. So well loved. And this is just beautiful taupey goodness. And it's just cool and just, I love it. I love this palette so much. I wear this at least once a week to work. At least once a week. Probably going to be hitting another pan in it at some point. Yeah, it's really nice. And then my number 1 palette, if you can't guess, if you've been here for a while, you know, the Stone Cold Fox. As dirty as she is, she's a dirty girl. She's dirty, but it's because she's so well loved. So well loved. I love this palette so much. And that's what I was talking about with the rock candy. We're going to compare them, you guys. We're going to compare them. Why I don't reach for the rock candy is because they're very similar. They are very similar with the exception of this, these more pinky tones. They're very similar. Look at that. And I didn't realize that when I got it. Actually, I think I got this in a Busy Beauty box, but I had asked for it. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the rock candy. It's beautiful. But if you have the Stone Cold Fox, there's really no reason to get the rock candy unless you want those pinky tones. But let's go back to her. Yeah, like it is such a beautiful, cool, neutral, but it has the mauves, it has the taupes, it has a little bit warmer, not quite taupe, but not quite brown either. I just love it. I think this is the only, right here is the only shade that I've never used. Everything else has been used. Some of it a lot. I'm really surprised I don't have more than 1 pan in that, but of course that's a pretty nice size pan too. So you guys, those are my Colourpop palettes, numbered 1 to 28, in my humble opinion. Tell me in the comments below if you completely disagree, if there are some that I ranked low that you love, or if there's some that I ranked high that you don't like. Yeah, tell me in the comments below your opinions on my ranking. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you being here. And until our next adventure, everyone have a great day, and we'll see you later.